Dasharatha started weeping. Now looking at Dasharatha weeping, Kaushalya weeping, Lakshmana and Sita with Ram going to the forest, people started admonishing Kaikeyi. They started cursing her. At the same time, if you remember, we have been seeing the hero worship concept. How Kaikeyi, Bharata's mother, misunderstood Bharata. How Bharata's father, Dasharatha, misunderstood him. How Dasharatha's charioteer Sumantra misunderstood him. Now the fourth person who comes into this list are the people, the citizens of Ayodhya. They all misunderstood Bharata. They all misunderstood the good and the great qualities of Bharata. It seems that they said, Prapadhyatam hi Kaikeyi saputra saha bandhavaihi Raghavena vayam sarve vane vatsyama nirvritaha. It seems one citizen told the other, why should we stay in this Ayodhya where there is no Ram, where there is no Sita, where there is no Lakshmana? Let us also go along with them. Let Bharata and Kaikeyi rule this Ayodhya very happily. It is for these two people that the king had granted this boon. Let him also stay along with Bharata and Kaikeyi. Let that Bharata rule happily. Had they known that Bharata would never have agreed for this concept of Kaikeyi, they would have never said this line. Why did the citizens of Ayodhya misunderstand Bharata? Because they were also involved in the hero worship of Ram, wherein they overlooked the great and the auspicious qualities of Bharata. The three depart to the forests. The people are watching this. What were their reactions? What all reactions and emotions did they exhibit? The Tamil poet Kamban says, it seems the cat started crying. Why did he mention only the cats? He could have mentioned other animals also. Because it is only the cats which enter the house when all the people inside the house are out. When all the inmates of a house are outside, the cats will get inside the house to see if there is some milk left. Even the cats came out of their houses is to indicate that the cats were not interested in drinking the milk right now. They were also emotionally attached to Ram. The Tamil poet Kamban says, the cats came out, the cow started crying, and even the calf started crying. The calf started crying not because Ram was leaving. They started crying because their mothers, that is the cow, started crying. The cat started crying. The cow started crying because their mothers, that is their cow, started crying. The calf started crying. And finally the Tamil poet Kamban gives a beautiful description wherein he says, even the fetus inside a mother's womb which had not seen Ram even once started crying. This is to indicate that Ram's influence, Ram's good attitude, his good characteristics, his good qualities had reached even the fetus of a womb, is to indicate that his auspiciousness, his vaibhavam, his importance knew no boundaries. Gachantam anugacchamo yena gacchati raghavaha udhyanani parityajya kshetrani cha grihani cha. In those days, all the princes were given one chamber. Their chamber itself used to look like a palace. And to every chamber there used to be a beautiful, tamed and properly maintained garden that used to be attached. It seems Ram had abandoned his dhanam, his wealth, his kingdom, his chamber and even the gardens. Gachantamanu gacchamo yena gacchati raghavaha udhyanani parityajya kshetrani cha grihani cha vanam nagaramevastu yena gacchati raghavaha asmabhischa parityaktam puram sampadhyatam samyaccha vajinam rashmin sutayahi shanai shanai mukham drakshyama ramasya dudursham no bhavishyati. It seems the citizens of Ayodhya told the charioteer, please ask your horses to walk slowly so that we could have a glimpse of the beautiful face of Ram. Saint Tyagaraja brings out this feeling of the citizens of Ayodhya, whatever they had of the charioteer and the beautiful face of Ram in a beautiful kriti. He says, it seems the people of Ayodhya told the charioteer, please let us have a glimpse of the face of Ram. Please don't take him away. Because if you take him away, we will never get to see that beautiful face who was the father to the Cupid, to the god of love himself. Shobhane, Shobhane, Vadana Dhyuti Jita Soma Vasudha Manasakama Madamanava Ghana Bhima Mam Pahi Shri Rama Shobhane Shobhane Varatyagarajanotaye Varija Sambhavatata Paramakalyanayuta Pahimam Shubhacharita Shobhane Shobhane. But Ram in turn told the people, hey citizens of Ayodhya, Ayodhya-vasi, please don't worry. We have been together for such a long time, and whenever I go to the forest and to whichever point I stay in the forest, I'll keep thinking of you. And I'm very sure that you will all be thinking of me. But know one thing, that when I am going to the forest and after having heard the news that Sita, myself and Lakshmana have left to the forest, you know who will be the person who will be weeping the most? It will be Bharata. So please pay the same respect, the same love, the same affection, the same bhakti, whatever you had towards me, towards my younger brother Bharata. Ya pritir bahumanascha maya Ayodhya nivasinam mat priyartham viseshena bharate sa vidhiyatam. Now Ram turned towards Lakshmana, because like how the citizens of Ayodhya, like how Ram's mother Kaushalya, like how Bharata's mother Kaikeyi, like how King Dasharatha, like how Sumantra, all of them had misunderstood Bharata. Even Lakshmana had misunderstood Bharata, but now Ram was trying to turn towards Lakshmana, and he wanted to explain the very fact that Bharata was in no way involved in this conspiracy. He told Lakshmana, Bharatasya nrisham sattvam sancintyaham punah punaha nanu shochami pitaram mataram cha mahabhuja. Hey Mahabhuja, the one who has the strong and the powerful arms, hey Lakshmana, do you think that I am worried about my father Dasharatha or my mother Kaushalya or your mother Sumitra? I am not worried about them. But you know, the only person whom I am worried about right now is our dear brother Bharata. I do not know how he will be able to convince himself, and who will be there to convince him? Who will be there to console him? I don't think that I have the feeling of parting away with Bharata from this place. Kalidas puts this concept in a very beautiful shloka. He says, Sasita Lakshmana Sakha Satyad Gurur Malopayan Vivesha Dandakaranyam Pratyekam Cha Sata Manaha. All of them walked to the forest, but when they walked to the forest, they did not go with the dense or the confused mind like the forest. Each of them had clear thoughts, says the great Kavi Kalidas. Now on the other hand, we have seen that Sita, while trying to convince Ram, she said, Hey Ram, Don't think that you will be walking in the front. I will walk in front of you. She said this. Followed by Lakshmana, who said, Hey Mata and Hey Pita. Hey Mata, you remember very well that Ram wanted to walk alone. Then you told Ram that you will be walking in front of him. But listen to my words. Neither you will walk in the front nor will Ram walk. I will walk first, followed by you and then Ram. But if we have seen all the pictures of Srimad Ramayanam, it will be contrary. What is the order here? Lakshmana was walking first, followed by Sita and then Ram. But in all the pictures that we see, in all the portraits that we see, we will see that Ram will be walking first, then Sita and then Lakshmana. Which is true of them? Is it Ram walked first and then Sita and then Lakshmana, or Lakshmana walked first, then Sita and then Ram? Both of them are true. But both can't be true at the same point of time. Ram and Lakshmana cannot walk in the front at the same time, leaving Sita behind alone. Neither can Sita walk in the front, then allowing Ram and Lakshmana to come behind. So, of the two, one should be right. But the fact is, both of them are right. How is it possible? Because after they left Ayodhya, the trio, that is Ram, Sita and Lakshman, as soon as they left Ayodhya, throughout the Ayodhya Kandam, it is only Lakshmana who walks in the front, followed by Sita and then Ram. Whereas if you see the Ayodhya Kandam, which is followed after the Ayodhya Kandam, in the Ayodhya Kandam, it is Ram who walks first, followed by Sita and Lakshmana. Why was this arrangement? Why did Lakshmana walk first in Ayodhya Kandam, and why did Ram walk first in Ayodhya Kandam? Because if you remember one important verse from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Hey Arjuna, I will be born again and again. I will take incarnation again and again. My avataram will happen again and again. Sambhavami yuge yuge. But all this avataram, all these incarnations will happen only for three reasons. The first is Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the innocent, to protect the good. Paritranaya sadhunam. The second is Vinashaya cha dushkritam, to cull away, to eliminate, to annihilate the evil, the bad. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, when the good are protected, when the bad is driven away, naturally the most obvious thing is dharma samsthapanam, where there will be a proper position which is set. There will be a proper path which is laid for dharmam, which is righteousness. So all these three things, these are the three most important reasons why an incarnation takes place, why an avataram takes place. Ram's avataram had also taken place for all these three reasons. Paritranaya sadhunam. Second is Vinashaya cha dushkritam. Third is Dharma samsthapanarthaya. But the third concept of Dharma samsthapanam will not happen in Ramayanam, because Ram himself is the dharmam there. Valmiki puts it in the words Dharmo Vigrahavan. Dharmo Vigrahavan. There is Dharmam and Ram are not two different concepts. If you want to make a beautiful figure, if you want to make a beautiful shape of all the good dharmam in the world, and you put them to a proper shape, you can give the name as Ram, because Ram was no different from dharmam. So Dharmo Vigrahavan is Ram. So the third reason of Dharma samsthapanam has already happened, because Ram was already born. But the first two things, Paritranaya sadhunam, protecting the innocent, and Vinashaya cha dushkritam, culling away or annihilating the evil, removing the evil. How will these two things happen? In Ayodhya Kandam, Ram meets one of the most important friends, the most important character of Srimad Ramayanam, that is Guha, followed by various acharyas, various rishis and rishipatnis. Like how a father will always encourage his son to walk first to meet the great people, Ram encouraged Lakshmana, followed by Sita, to meet the great people. So in Ayodhya Kandam, there is Sadhu Samrakshanam, Bhagavata Sangamam, where there is a meeting of great devotees. So Bhagavan is Ram, Bhagavati is Sita, and to the Bhagavan Ram and Bhagavati Sita, their most important devotee is Lakshmana, who is a Bhagavata. And when devotees meet, there is no other bigger pleasure or greater pleasure for the Divya Dampati, who is Ram and Sita. So Ram encouraged Lakshmana to walk in the front so that he as a Bhagavata could have a proper Bhagavata Sangamam, the confluence of all the devotees together in Ayodhya Kandam. This is very well proven, wherein Valmiki himself says, Avashyam Rakshanam Karyam Madvidhair Vijane Vane Agrato Gacha Saumitre. Ram says to Lakshmana, who was the son of Sumitra, so he was called Saumitre. Hey Saumitre, Agrato Gacha, walk in the front. Ram says to Lakshmana, walk in the front. Agrato Gacha Saumitre, Sita Tvam Anugachatu. As soon as you walk in the front, Sita will follow you. When Sita walks behind you, I will walk behind her, says Ram. There is another verse wherein he reconfirms that Lakshmana should walk in the front. That is, he says, Sita Madaya Gacha Tvamagrato Bharatanuja Prishthato Anugamishami Sayudho Dvipadambara. You walk in the front, Lakshmana. So in Ayodhya Kandam, Ram made Lakshmana walk first, followed by Sita, and finally him, because in Ayodhya Kandam it is entirely the Bhagavata Sangamam, the meeting of the devotees, the confluence of the devotees. But why did he walk in the front in the Aranya Kandam? In Ayodhya Kandam, Lakshmana walked first, followed by Sita, and then Ram. Whereas in Aranya Kandam, it is Ram who walks first, followed by Sita, and then Lakshmana. Why is it so? In Ayodhya Kandam, there was a Bhagavata Sangamam, there was meeting up of the devotees. Whereas in Aranya Kandam, there is Dushta Nigraham. If you remember that verse of Bhagavad Gita wherein I said, Paritranaya Sadhunam, that is to protect the innocent, meeting of the innocent, the meeting of the good people. Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, annihilating or removing the bad or the evil. Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, these are the three reasons. These are the three reasons why Bhagavan takes an incarnation. I have said that the third reason, Bhagavan is already the personification of Dharma. So there is no need for it. Dharmo Vigrahavan. The first is Paritranaya Sadhunam, which is Bhagavata Sangamam, which happens in Ayodhya Kandam. Whereas in Aranya Kandam, the second thing happens, Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, wherein the demons who have been troubling and who have been torturing the rishis are killed. So for this Dushta Nigraham, like how a father, to encourage his child to meet the great people, would always push his son first, whereas when it comes to problems, he will put himself in the first place and would put his children in the end, because he would always want to protect his children. So Ram wanted to protect his child, that is Lakshmana, so he pushed Lakshmana behind and he walked front in Aranya Kandam. Because this is again confirmed in Aranya Kandam. We have seen 2 shlokas in Ayodhya Kandam which say that Lakshmana walked first, followed by Sita, and then Ram. Whereas in Aranya Kandam, we will see a shloka which says that Ram walked first, followed by Sita, and then Lakshmana. Agratah prayayau Ramaha Sita madhye sumadhyama prishtatastu dhanushpanir Lakshmano Anujagamaha. Lakshmano Anujagamaha. Lakshmana went along with them at the end. This beautiful scene wherein Jagat Pita, that is Srimad Narayan, followed by Sita, that is Jagannmata Mahalakshmi, followed by Adisesha Avataram, that is the incarnation of Adisesha, who is none other than Lakshmana, walk, this trio. This happened during Treta Yugam. We are now living in Kali Yugam. Prior to Kali Yugam, there was Dwapara Yugam, where the incarnation of Krishna had taken place. Krishna Avataram had taken place. Prior to Dwapara Yugam, there was Treta Yugam, where Rama Avataram had taken place, the incarnation of Ram. So in Treta Yugam, Bhagavan, that is Srimad Narayan, in the form of Ram, followed by Bhagavati, that is Jagannmata Mahalakshmi in the form of Sita, followed by Adisesha in the form of Lakshmana, walked as a trio. The same scene was enacted in Kali Yugam. Where do we see it in Kali Yugam? 1000 years before. In 1017 AD, one of the most revered and respected acharyas of our Sanatana Dharmam and Hinduism, that is Bhagavad Ramanujacharya, was born in 1017 AD. We are now in 2010 AD. So in 1017 AD, Ramanujacharya was born. He was called Ramanuja by his parents. He was christened the name Ramanuja because their only aim was that this child born to them should serve Bhagavan like how Lakshmana served Ram. Since Lakshmana was the brother to Ram, what is the word for brother in Sanskrit? It is Anuja. Since Lakshmana was the brother of Ram, he was also called Ramanuja. Hence, these parents who had this child in 1017 AD also thought that their child should also serve Bhagavan like how Lakshmana served Ram. So, they gave the name Ramanuja to the child. So, this Ramanuja was no different from Lakshmana of Treta Yugam. He was also the incarnation of Adisesha, the beautiful bed of Mahavishnu, that is Srimad Narayan. Ramanuja was a very brilliant child in his childhood days. Throughout his Gurukula education, he was very brilliant. He was a prodigy. He was a child prodigy. His Acharya, his tutor was Yadava Prakasha. He belonged to the Advaita tradition of Shankaracharya. He was totally non-dualistic. One day, while Ramanuja as a student was giving an oil massage to his master, that is Yadava Prakasha, one of the students came to Yadava Prakasha and asked, "Hey Guru, there is one doubt that I have in Chandogya Upanishad." There are many Upanishads. There is one important huge Upanishad called as Chandogya Upanishad. It is generally called Chandogyam. In Chandogyam I have a doubt, hey Maharishi, hey Guru, hey Yadava Prakasha, could you please clear that doubt for me? Yadav Prakasha said, please tell me where that line is and what is that doubt. He said, there is one particular line which describes the beautiful Paramapurusha. It describes the beautiful form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahmam. It says, Tata Kapyasam Pundarikam Evam Akshini. Could you please translate and explain the meaning of this? Yadav Prakasha started explaining. He said, the eyes, the two eyes of the Parabrahmam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, represents the two red color portion of a monkey which is found in its back. The two reddened portions of the monkey are compared to the two eyes of Bhagavan. When he was giving this explanation to this particular line read by his student, Ramanuja, who was giving an oil massage to his teacher Yadav Prakasha, started shedding tears. Yadav Prakasha found that the tears of Ramanuja were reaching his shoulders and they were burning him like fire. He immediately turned to Ramanuja and asked, "Why are you now shedding tears? What has happened?" Ramanuja said, "With your permission, I would like to say one thing. This friend of mine has come to you and asked for the meaning of this particular line from Chandogyam, which is Tatha Kapyasam Pundarikam Evam Akshini. And you have compared the two eyes of Parabrahmam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Srimad Narayan, with the two red portions of the back of a monkey. Is this right on your part, hey Guru?" Then the Guru got really angry. He said, "Hey Ramanuja, can you now tell me what is the true meaning of it?" Ramanuja said, Tata Kapyasam Pundarikam Evam Akshini. Pundarikam means a flower, a lotus. Instead of using this word, the meaning of this word, you have said that the eyes of the Parabrahmam are like the two red portions of the back of a monkey. Tata Kapyasam. Kapi in Sanskrit means a monkey. So you have compared. But Guru, there is one more meaning to it. Kam pibati iti kapihi. If you see, the sun is the one which drinks water. Because in a lake, if there is water and whenever there is hot sun which is in the sky, due to the sun's rays, the water starts getting evaporated, which means that the sun's rays are consuming the water. The sun, through its rays, consumes the water in the pond, and in turn, it delights the lotus in the pond by making it bloom beautifully early in the morning. Likewise, the eyes of the Parabrahmam, the eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, do not represent the red portions of the back of a monkey, whereas it represents the beautiful lotus which blooms on looking at the sun which has consumed the water of the pond. This was the right meaning given by Ramanuja. Hearing this meaning from Ramanuja, the other Sishyas, the other disciples now thought, let us now abandon this Yadav Prakasha and now think Ramanuja as our Guru. Yadav Prakasha was very jealous of Ramanuja's knowledge. Despite him being the teacher and knowing the fact that a teacher should never be jealous of a student's knowledge, Yadav Prakasha now started having a vengeance against his student Ramanuja. Now they all had planned to go to a trip to Kashi. Kashi is in Uttar Pradesh. Now they are all in Tamil Nadu, near Chennai, the modern Chennai. There is a place called Tirupputtkuzhi, Griddharaja Kshetram. This was the place where Rama performed the last rites for the dead bird Jatayu. So it's called Tirupputtkuzhi or Griddharaja Kshetram. So now Ramanuja and his other friends, with the lead of their Guru Yadav Prakasha, were now in this town which is close to modern Chennai or Kanchipuram. Now they all had to walk to Uttar Pradesh to a place called Kashi. They all walked, and it was known that Yadav Prakasha, the Guru of Ramanuja, now started cultivating and nurturing some vengeance inside the heart of his against his own disciple Ramanuja, because Ramanuja was a child prodigy. He was giving all the correct meanings. He, along with the other disciples of his, planned that they should drown, that they should push Ramanuja in the Ganges, because Ganges is very wide and it is also very deep. In certain places it is around 50 feet deep. So they wanted to push Ramanuja and kill him in that particular Ganges. One of the disciples called Govinda came to know about this plot arranged by his Guru of killing Ramanuja. He wanted to save the life of Ramanuja. He immediately informed Ramanuja and he said, "Hey Ramanuja, our Guru has planned to kill you along with the other disciples. The other disciples along with the Guru have arranged for a plot wherein they would push you inside the Ganges. So you please leave this troop and save your life and go to our place and try preaching the right philosophy to the people." Ramanuja took this tip from his friend Govinda and started walking in the forest. Now he was coming in along the forests of Madhya Pradesh. When we sing our national anthem also, we say that the Vindhya ranges are very beautiful. All the Vindhya mountains can be found heavily in Madhya Pradesh, and they are all covered by thick forests. Vindhyachalam has Vindhyaranyam, it has thick forests. And in those days they never had sodium lights or street lights, and they never had tar roads or cement roads. Everything used to be dark, and in the forest they were so thick that the sun's rays or the moon's rays could barely find some place to reach the ground. So Ramanuja walked along those forests right during the midnight. He did not know where to go. There were no direction boards also. Now, when he was totally lost, he was right now in Vindhyachalam, the Vindhyaranyam, the forests of Madhya Pradesh. He did not know what to do and where to go. But he always had the Divya Dampati, Srimad Narayan and Mahalakshmi in his heart. He kept thinking of them and he started walking. On the way, he found a hunter couple. The hunter couple came towards him and said, "Hey Maharishi, you are coming from the north. I don't think even I know the way. So let us all stay in this forest together, and tomorrow morning let us start, because in sun's rays we can find our way right." Ramanuja also agreed to this idea of the hunter and his wife. Now it was time for all three of them to sleep. But the hunter's wife told her husband, "Hey Natha, I am very thirsty. Could you please fetch some water for me?" Ramanuja said to the hunter, "Please stay with your wife. Don't leave her alone. I will go get some water for your wife." Ramanuja traced a few steps. He went just a few steps before. He found a beautiful well there. Then he drew water from it, got some water for the hunter's wife, and the hunter's wife thanked Ramanuja, and all three of them slept. The next morning, when the sun's rays hit hard on the face of Ramanuja woke up. He then came to know that he was still in the forest. But he was surprised to find the hunter and the hunter's wife missing. At the same time, he could hear the Suprabhatam of a certain Vishnu temple. Suprabhatam is a certain devotional hymn that is sung in all Vishnu temples early in the morning to wake the Lord up. So he heard the Suprabhatam and he inquired a person who was walking in front of him. He asked, "Hey Swami, could you please tell me to which place I am right now in?" This person said, "Hey you Maharishi, hey you Sadhu, don't you know that this is Kanchipuram?" Ramanuja was totally surprised because in the night he was somewhere in Madhya Pradesh and now he was right now in Kanchipuram, which is Tamil Nadu. So then he realized that the people whom he met last night was nobody other than the Divya Dampati. The Divya Dampati. The Divya Dampati. The Divya Dampati.